Hello and welcome to I Am Prime Minister, the podcast that gives celebs, comedians and influencers the keys to number 10 and a chance to run the country. Please do, obviously, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify and watch us on YouTube because I've got a mortgage. Today we are with our brand new Prime Minister. Taking the keys of Downing Street is Russell Kane. Congratulations on your shock victory.
Thank you. And I would also, this is for the edit if you can manage it, cut straight to the YouTube video where there is a conspiracy theorist genuinely suggesting that I am actually Rishi Sunak and we've never been seen together. I swear to you,
you look like white Rishi Sunak.
That is, well,
wrong accent.
White, that's very kind of you. I'm orange, I'm from Essex, listeners. In fact, white would be one of the biggest insults you could level in. As we all know, the orange don't crack. And, no, so that's, not only do I get told I look like Anglo-Saxon Rishi Sunak, even though I'm only 48% Anglo-Saxon, there is a conspiracy theory that I am him. So today on I Am Prime Minister, you have a guest who actually is rumoured to be the real Prime Minister.
I think that might be the closest we get to a real Prime Minister on
Possibly.
this show. Look, I'm here to help you as well as Lorin Bell Cross, your Chief Political Advisor and our resident political expert. Look, we need to get started by naming your party. Your victory was so quick, we didn't even have a chance to name the party. What are we going to go for?
The Mauves.
The Mauves?
Yeah.
Why the Mauves? Mauve Party?
Actually, that's a bit UKIP-y, isn't it? Is there any? No.
Yeah, they like a bit of purple, don't they, UKIP?
Do you know what? I'm gonna be the Super Greens because I eat Super Greens on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe that the solution to the economic crisis lies within the challenge to our environmental crisis. It's annoying that Keir Starmer's just said it after I've been saying it for 2 years with his £28 billion green super plan. I still won't vote for the company man Bellend, but I do believe that's the solution, is to take a lefty covered in hummus, think of the grandchildren issue and cover it in money for the I don't care if I tread on a peasant. And if you bring those two tribes together, windmill farms.
That's it. So give people lots of money to build windmill farms.
Let's be, when they look back in 200 years, go, well, like we look back and go, do you remember the coal mines? Let them look back and go, God, do you remember Britain in the 2030s, how rich they became because of the green mines? Why? Someone's going to do it.
So how about, here's a first policy for you. So instead of the big wind turbines that nobody likes, people complain about them all the time. I quite like them, don't understand why people don't. But instead of that, we'll go for a more retro aesthetic of it, of the sort of proper windmills you get in rivers and stuff. We'll redesign them.
The Tories would like that because it's sort of classic, isn't it?
That'd go well with my first policy, which is complete legalisation of all cannabis-related products. That would fit
super green by nature.
Because I've never met anyone that needs to mellow out.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe that is. I believe it's. I don't want to look at a windmill. Try burning to death in a drought. No, I'd still rather do that than look at a windmill.
That's going to be the first clip we put up now. You're just singing the word.
I don't understand. I don't get it. How thinking of your grandchildren burning to death in global change is less inconvenient than a windmill on the horizon.
Do you find yourself? Are you more worried about it as well because you have children? Does it stress you out?
It's not that wanky. To me, it's more realpolitik, pragmatic.
Yeah.
We're a dying, pathetic, like 90-year-old rock star still doing concerts thinking we're Harry Styles. That's us politically and economically in the world. And we still got it in our leather trousers. And over here is an arena full of nursing homes where they'll actually pay to hear us sing. But we're like, no, the kids still like us. Like, get real, Britain. We need to do something new, and that new thing is over there. Let's make. It's my way of motivating the righties. Let's selfishly make more money than everyone else.
Yeah.
Whilst rolling in hummus and freeing Tibet and being vegans at the same time.
You can do both.
Yeah.
Why not?
Have your cake and eat it.
That's why I'm green. Fess up.
Have your hummus and eat it.
You may have detected I vote green. But
do you live somewhere where that's a wasted vote though?
No, because even though he can't be elected, his name is Dick Vane. And I'm not making that up. My local Green MP is Dick Vane. I don't know whether it is this time. Double check.
You'd go for Rich, wouldn't you?
It was last time. Dick Vane in Cheshire. So not only does that, but it goes with my porn aspirations as well. But I'm from Essex, so I, of course, had all my veins relaxed. And also, so I don't offend any Gen Zers, I've relaxed the wrinkles in my scrotum because that can be triggering to Gen Z females.
Dick Vane is. I mean, you got to vote for
Is he
that
still
guy.
going?
Dick Veins.
Yeah.
Dick Vane's.
But
That works even
the S
better.
is silent. The S is silent. It's French. Dick Vane. Don't try and make it cleaner.
Yeah, it's
Name's
still Dick
Dick
Vane's.
There we go.
Love that.
The silent S.
Great. Well, what we'll do now is we'll go through a few departments and work out your policies on it. I'm going to start with business and trade.
Yeah.
Now, you're quite a savvy guy.
Yeah.
You've done lots of things. You know, you sort of have a lot of fingers in a lot of pies when it comes to business.
I do.
Where does this come from? Is this your Essex roots? Wheeling, dealing?
I think I'm just a grafter. My dad just raised, my pocket money stopped at 11. I wish I was exaggerating. It sounds like something from a Dickens novel. My pocket money stopped at 11 and my dad was like, right, you're on your own. My dad had Jewish heritage, no Jewish religion, and not enough Jewish heritage for me to be allowed to do a Jewish joke on stage, annoyingly. But my dad still was passed down that you're a man at 11, which was nice for my childhood. And so that was it. I had no income at 11.
So what did you do?
Paper round, 7 days a week, every day before school and Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
And I just, for me, but I was like, thought it was great because I had my own money. It wasn't until I got into my 20s and started mingling with middle class people, I was like, shit, that was quite harsh. So yeah, I'd know. When I got to 16, my dad sat me down and went, you're not going to university. We can't afford it. You'll have to pay for yourself. So I then knew I had to get a job, save up and go to uni a bit later.
Yeah.
So I went when I was 20, 21 instead.
So we think, oh, this is interesting. So child labour laws are coming back then.
No, that's why I've got, in answer to your question,
that's why you do it.
Why
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
fine.
savvy with money is because I fucking had to be.
So there are lots of things here. So like, what do you think? Like, so you've got a business at the moment as well, Joel.
Yeah, so my wife, so I started comedy. I already had a really nice career. I worked in advertising. I was head copywriter within 18. I started on travel cards, being paid £30 a week. Then I went up to £100 a week. And then 18 months later, I was head copywriter at Billings and Cartmel in London, fucking just earning a ridiculous salary. And on my way to creative director, I'd made it. The first chat from my postcode, sitting on fluffy couches like this, brainstorming, doing posh middle class things, flat in Clapham, 2 pedigree cats, lovely girlfriend. I was up and running, and then fucking stand-up comedy comes into my life. Like going back to drugs, I would draw a comparison with heroin, really.
Yeah.
I went and tried this thing one night because everyone's told me my whole life I'm really funny. But I'd never, coming from my background, you don't go to the theatre at the weekend. Your dad gets a curry, you get high over the park, you come back and eat the leftovers, and you do that until you leave school with no GCSEs. That's your childhood, get on with it. If you're lucky, you'll get a hand job by the dog shit bin from Cross-Eyed Donna if you give her 10 B&H. That was my
Okay,
childhood.
so Cross-Eyed Donna back into government then.
So I'd never had any contact with theatre or stand-up, ever. And I'm now 25, living my dream in an ad agency. One night, like doing a bungee jump, I was like, what have I got to do? I don't watch stand-up, bores me shitless. I'd never been to see it. I had no interest in it. I just enjoy being funny off the cuff.
Yeah.
I went and did it, and it was like, I threw up, and I had diarrhea for the whole day and the next day, but it was the best feeling I've ever had. And then I was hooked. My life fell up. I lost a stone. I lost my girlfriend. I missed mortgage payments. And eventually, after 2 years...
What about the cats?
I kept the cats.
Okay, fine.
My creative director went, you've got to make a choice. So it is analogous with heroin.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop, even though...
It destroyed your life.
Basically, yeah. My whole social life was gone.
So in our drugs policy, we're not legalising heroin then?
That comes top of the most
But
harmful
actually,
substances.
we are banning stand-up because it's too
Stand-up,
addictive.
It was unreal.
It's not good for your mental health either.
So now I'm 28, 29 with an act which is like the f***ing Lee Evans on crack. And I start to get all this amazing... Any competition I did, I just won it. I was like, is this actually happening to me? I thought, surely I can't win the Edinburgh one. And went in for that, took a couple of goes, won that fucker. But now I'm 35. What use is that at 35? Getting out of breath on stage, belly appearing, lines start to appear, as they should, if you're age 35. So that's when I start to get interested in, can you slow aging? Scientifically, going back to the empirical double-blind research and all these weird compounds, diet, exercise, and that's what I started doing 13 years ago. And I've kept my biological age around about 35, 36.
How?
By any measure you can take.
Like, what are you doing then?
Well, three of them people aren't interested in. Diet, exercise, sleep, stroke, stress management. Yeah, but what pills you taking? No. Diet, exercise, sleep, stress management. Do not be taking a magic pill on top of a Burger King and no sleep. Just open your toilet, take your money and flush it. It'll be more use to you. If you're willing to move a bit each day, I'm not even talking about, I've not been to a gym today. Have I done 50 minutes of activity? Fucking 2 right in my hotel room, hanging off doors, pull-ups, star jump, anything. Just don't eat shit, eat carbs, eat fat, eat protein. Just don't eat any processed shit. Nothing. Stuff your face with red meat, but make sure it's grass-fed, good red meat.
Yeah.
Eat carbs, but make sure they're whole grains. Just don't eat shit. Twix is not a food, you dickhead, right? And so once I fixed those and then started putting evidence-based supplementation on top, that was what supercharged what I was doing. And some stuff has gone backwards.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't pull muscles anymore. I don't get tired anymore. People meeting me for the first time, guessing my age, which is all I've got to go on, apart from the myriad blood tests and biological tests I've done. They always guess 30s, always.
Yeah.
I've grown my hair back at the crown. This shit works, man. It works.
Because look, I mentioned this as business, but actually this feels like health policy, really.
Health.
Yeah. This feels like loads. So you think...
Anti-aging would save if we took anti-aging seriously, it would help the NHS a lot more than increasing its budget to deal with diabetes, for example. As
Prime Minister, something you can do, like we can ban processed food then. Like in your premiership, let's get rid of it.
No, I wouldn't ban it because human beings aren't babies, just to go a bit Farage on you.
Yeah.
But what I would do is I would treat it the way we treat... It blows my mind that if I go to buy a cigarette, I can see a dying dad holding a toddler's hand with a black hole in his lung, spewing green down his chest. But if I go to buy a Cadbury's cream egg, it's just got a colourful packaging. Now, which do you think is more dangerous? 20 cigarettes a day or 5 stone overweight? You know the answer, by the way I've asked the question, right? Go to the nursing home tomorrow, show me the smoking 100-year-olds. There's a few. Show me the miserable, stressed, never married 100-year-olds. There's a few. Show me the 100-year-olds that have never exercised. There's a few. Show me the fat people in the nursing home. There are none, right? I'm not against any sort of body shape, and nothing fills me with more joy than to see someone happy with what shape they are. But it will kill you. It fucking will.
Right, so policy number 1 in health, we're going to kill fat people. No, so look, but I think this is great. Like, I think the stress and sleep thing is something that do governments ever go after stress and sleep, Lorin? Is that something that
it's one of the things
in the
they
world?
notice, but it's not something that you're right. They don't. There's not nearly enough money or effort spent in that. So I don't know if you knew that a GP can prescribe someone a PT session.
Really?
They have the power to do so, to prescribe a PT session, to do exercise and to do those kind of things you describe. But so often than not, it's just not. It's not taken.
And do you know why?
Because
Do you know when they self-reports why GPs don't do that? Because they find it too hard to have the conversations with overweight people about their weight because it kicks off.
Yeah.
As a society, we're too shy about having this conversation, right? Just label food properly. It's as simple as that. Nothing wrong with a Twix or a box of Frosties if it had the dying dad not meeting his grandchildren plastered on the front. That's what happens with cigarettes. It should happen with anything that's going to spike your blood sugar like that. If we sort out, not lifespan, I don't give a shit if I live to 100 or 60. What I want is health span.
Yeah.
The percentage of years that I'm on the earth feeling vital. So if I'm going to die at 60, I would like to be 59 and 364 days having the best day of my life, and then bang.
Yeah.
That's what we all know. People that have died like that, who they're normally 90 or 100 years old. There's many species on Earth that age like that. That's how human beings could age if we didn't increase our inflammation with shit diet, sleep, stress, and lack of movement.
Yeah. How do you manage the sleep thing though? Like, especially if, like, look, I think sleep is so important, especially as a comic. You realise that that it is really important. But this is something I don't think governments have ever gone for this before. Like getting maybe like a national bedtime is what everyone needs.
Yeah, education.
Yeah.
About sleep. Again, it's if your diet and your. So my wife's business is called Jolt. She saw me each day, I open my medicine cabinet in the morning, and it's full of, like, you wouldn't believe it, hundreds of weird, like, an Elon Musk level of potions and pills. So my wife said to me, what are the top 7 that have been proved to work on mammals in a lab that you take that's actually slow or reverse aging? So I went, it's these 7. So she's combined those into one supplement,
Yeah.
all top grade, third party checked, and she's launched Jolt. And it's smashing it. Everyone, oh, leave it out. You can't stop aging.
Does this mean you're going to walk out of Downing Street because your wife's going to become a billionaire?
No, but she would come in like a rich wife. That's never worked before, has it? As a prime minister, I can't think of a prime minister
Well, this is gonna
whose
aid the
rich wife
conspiracy-
bankrolls his tiny height. I mean,
Well,
tiny
indeed.
budget.
Only going to fuel the conspiracy theories.
You what?
This is only going to fuel the conspiracy theories
Yeah,
that you're.
I am, Rishi.
But
Yeah.
also, like, look, and also, I
Don't
think there
eat
will be
shit
conspiracy theories when every time you do a briefing, you're like, why is this like Benjamin Button shit happening?
But the people
you're
are
going to end up with
saying-
a baby by the time you leave Downing
Our
Street.
catchphrase on Jolt is "Don't eat shit, move a bit." Oh, it's so complicated. Oh, you need to eat carbs. No, it. Just stop eating shit, move a bit, and you'll be okay. Go to Italy on a plane. So I'm not saying they're politically ideal, but when it comes to once you've got past the hookers and the pervy men, it's full of people eating pasta, which has got 3 ingredients in it. It's full of slim.
And red wine.
The slim. And do you know what their secret is? It's going to blow your mind, listeners. Eating a medium amount of some stuff, some of the time. Let me just repeat that really fucking complicated diet plan. A medium amount of some stuff, some of the time. Do you know why? Do you know what we fucking love in the UK? Slimming World, because it plays to the British mentality of starve, gorge. Our balance books, 2008, skin, lots of money. Australia, yeah, credit crunch hit them a bit. Every part of British society, nothing, lots. Recession, rich, drunk, fucking detox, Reading and Leeds Festival, nervous breakdown, into care. Slimming World is lettuce leaf every day, save up your sins, bin bag of Snickers on Saturday. Oh no, I'm shitting blood. How did that happen? Because you fucking ate lettuce, then a bag of Snickers, you bellend. Just
Mellow it out.
just eat, just don't overthink it.
Yeah.
You don't need a gym membership. You don't need to cut out a food group. Just what I said to some people, members of my family that were like, I wouldn't even know where to start. Where's my oxygen tank? I said, just stand up during the ad breaks. If you're listening to this and you think I'm talking shit and you're swearing at your listening device, and if you have legs and you're lucky enough to have legs that you can use, because many people don't, stand up during every time a YouTube ad rolls, stand up. That's all you're going to do for a week. If you see adverts, you're going to stand. That's it. Find me the human being with legs that is not willing to do that, and then they're probably very happy in their own skin, and I'm jealous.
Yeah. Great. Well, look, I think we started with business, but that felt more like health as well.
That's health,
Really,
yeah.
really combined
We
it.
create a new department. Fuck, we don't need to just create one. We just amalgamate health and business into a department of well-being. We'll do
Department
that.
of Well-being.
Oh,
I love
it.
it.
It sounds a bit Orwellian, but we don't mean it.
It sounds a
in an
bit like
Orwellian-
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow's running
Yeah,
it, doesn't
yeah.
it?
We're not getting her in government, though.
No,
just, you know.
absolutely not. So we're going to move on
Do you
now.
know a fact about Gwyneth Paltrow? Her vagina smells of candle. That was the twist. That's why it just smells of candle.
We're not putting out a similar governmental raid, shall
I've
we?
met Chris Martin, and it is quite waxy. He told me. Allegedly.
Right, we're going to move on now to your next department, culture, media and sport.
Yes.
So you are obviously a cultured man nowadays.
I think so, yeah.
Do you think, you were saying earlier about being working class and not being into the theatre and culture
it's
and
not-
stand-up and things. Do you think that's something that we as a government now can do and sort of give theatre and culture to everyone?
We're not going to like this policy. The teachers aren't going to like it. But this is my experience of growing up, right? So it's not my mum and dad's fault. My mum's a fucking cleaner and my dad's a lagger. That job is so working class, most of you won't know what it is. It's someone who goes down into a boiler house and puts the really itchy lagging on the outside of pipes. Horrible fucking job. So we weren't going to fucking Verdi at the weekend and shit like that, right? He was just sitting in a chair watching Play Your Cards Right, recovering before it all starts again on a Monday. You can't really expect knackered working class people with no money to start enjoying the opera. What you can do is when we get bright working class children, how can we, like I was, how do we capitalise on that? We used to have the 11 plus, but my dad failed his 11 plus, my mum failed 11 plus, my wife comes from an area where they had 11 plus, she failed that, my brother-in-law failed it, and it devastated their lives. So it's obviously not a workable policy.
No.
But why should children like me, who would have loved the opportunity to be around kids who want to learn, also pay the price? So this is my idea.
Go on.
And it has got some evidence. I would always turn into a girly up till I was about 13, and I just wanted to be a mandem, and I was lost. But up till 13, bright, girly swat, overtaking the posh kids, summer holidays, down again, all the way down, no cultural activities, dog shit bin, Donna with a cross-eye, and then back to school. And now I'm below the posh kids. Because you know what they did in their holidays? Natural History Museum, Tuscany, topping up. We need, I'm not suggesting less holiday overall, you just need less long gaps so that working class children don't have the don't fall behind.
I do think that I agree with this actually, that the 6 weeks is too long, especially because, look, my mum works in a school where she deals with all the vulnerable kids, the kids that go away for 6 weeks and there's abuse in the home, there's drugs in the home, there's all these problems, and they send them off and their lives get markedly worse for 6 weeks.
Of course.
And then they come back worse kids than they were before because they've spent a year building them up for their parents, essentially, in this case, to f*** them up.
So that's an anecdotal proof of what I'm talking about. Also, longer school days. I know. It's all money, but the thing is, there's something. It's called something like the PISA rating or something, and it's how influential your school life is versus your home life in a ratio. So what you want with a good education system, so like Finland, for example, is you want the teachers in the school to have more influence on the developing child in a poor or vulnerable environment than the school. How are you going to do that when you're doing 9 to 3 and 6 weeks off? It's a losing battle. So we need to shift this ratio so the school has more impact. We need to probably make sure, I'll not say abolish private schools, because I do send my daughter to a private school. What would I do if private schools were abolished? I would plough my money into the local comp and make it the bollocks. That's what I would do.
Well, there used to be a scheme called the Assisted Places Scheme where working class kids who couldn't afford it got sent to private schools by local authorities. That sort of helped some people, but then it got chucked by Blair because it was said to be elitist. Would you bring something like that in?
I personally would try and make all schools more equal. This idea, for me, I always laughed, even as a teenager, at the word comprehensive. Same education for school. It's not. It's a private school system decided by your postcode in your house. If you can afford a posh big house, you go to a school full of posh big kids. Yes, there's crossovers in a city, but broadly speaking, it is a private school system. It's tagged to your mortgage and postcode. So we need to try and find a way to fix that. We also, I think, they've done it in America. They went to the worst part of New York, single parents, crackheads, and they made one change: longer school days, less holidays.
And it worked.
They turned into f***ing nerds. Of course they did, because they don't know anything other. They're getting in tired, sleeping, and going back to school. There was less chance for the shit that used to get me on the bus on the way home. You know, the Rizzler starts calling quite early.
See, I'm surprised you were ever a bit of a mandem. I thought you were always very swatty.
I was fine till I was about 12 or 13, and then this is a common phenomenon, particularly with boys. Your value system inverts only for 10 years, so that the tougher you are, the quicker you lose your virginity, the more drugs that you've tried earlier, the more props, as we would say, you've got with your peer group. So of course I wanted to be popular. That's why I've become a comedian. If you can tolerate being unpopular, smelling of wee and playing chess, you will get high grades. But most of us want to get laid, we want to try weed. You're a teenager.
Yeah.
And before you realise it, oh shit, I'm 21, I'm f***ed. I'm an old man in an old man's job on a building site. That's it. Bang, 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 65 dead. And that over and over again, generation after generation. 11 plus was a good idea, but it didn't work for the reasons we've said.
Well, there is some evidence to support your idea of shorter lengths of breaks. So one of the countries that's cited as having the longest amount of school days a year is Korea. It's got 220.
North.
We've got not North.
North Korea.
They never go
5 a.m. till 8 p.m.
They're taken out of the womb with a glove and into the factory.
Practical education, but no, we won't do that. But by comparison, we've got 190 days. They've got 220.
So do another month school a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
But look at their results.
Yeah. And they're great singers.
I don't know what their social mobility rate is, but, you know.
So we're going to move on now to... we've covered a lot here. We've covered environment and net zero. Finally, though, we're going to go into transport. Now, you're a comedian. I always like asking comedians about transport who've just become Prime Minister because you've got a comprehensive view in it. Are you an electric car guy?
Not yet, because
Charging.
I've experimented. We leased one, and it was so stressful. Watching the clock tick down, you're getting off stage 2 a.m. in rural Scotland. That's it. So you end up burning a lot more fuel because you've got to go to a hotel and use electricity. When I would have gone home, it was a false economy.
Yeah.
Once you can get 600-700 miles out of a battery, or even better, every forecourt in the land has as many rapid chargers as petrol and diesel pumps, or less going forward. So what we need is charging that we're nearly there, that can be done in 10 to 15 minutes, because this is the real world and people have deadlines and lives. And they need to be in every petrol station. Until then, most jobs that require driving probably won't gamble an electric car.
Well, they've started in Sweden. They're experimenting with a charging rail. So when you're driving on the road, if you need to charge, there's something that comes out the bottom of the car and drags along a rail, and you can charge on the motorway.
Fucking hell. So imagine getting...
But by that point, you go, that's a train.
Yeah. That's just a tram.
Yeah.
You're driving a tram, Gary, come on. Oh, those mushrooms are great. So when my dad, because I think my politics are largely formed by being as opposite to my father as possible, Darth Vader style. And my old man just had a visceral fear of the electric car, which some people, it's hard to, of all the things you can be phobic about, someone driving an electric car, it does baffle me. So I bought a Prius secondhand. I was so happy. I was doing my tour and I felt like I was doing my first lot of driving, and I thought, I'm doing something here. Now, you bought Jap crap, boy, a load of old Jap crap. You want to drive a Merc? I'm thinking, that's German. They literally fought us in the war. I didn't want to correct him.
They're more on side with the Japanese.
Diesel. You want to drive a diesel automatic Merc? It was like he was obsessed with it like a religion. So I got this Prius, and it's the only accident I've ever had in my entire life. Car accident. I didn't shit myself. And I was driving, and there was a car upside down, sideways on the M11, no lights, and I'm doing 70. It just came out of nowhere. I didn't hit it. I swerved to miss it. Nearly hit the swerved, and then central reservation. It wasn't a bad accident, but it was enough to write the car off. And I had to get towed home, called my parents. I've been in an accident, and I eventually got home. It was about 5 a.m, just as the sun was coming up. My dad was in the front garden with his arms folded, and the car's all smashed up on the back, and I'm in the front of the wagon with the guy, and my dad put his head in through the window and said to me, "It's zero emissions now, isn't it, boy?" He'd waited for 2 hours to deliver that zinger.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, it's funny. Like, I'm obsessed with transport at the moment, just because trains are awful, cars are bad,
I travel with Avanti. Honestly, what is going on with Avanti? They need to lose their. Do you know what Avanti? Do you know what branding? Avanti, if you don't know, you probably do, because it goes from Glasgow to London, so almost everyone's used it, even if you're in the West or the
West Coast Main Line,
right?
For train obsessives, of which there are undoubtedly people are going to tune in.
But most people have. Well, even if you're from Wales, you're going to come into London and end up using it. So most people will know it. So they've got the main vein running through this country from Glasgow to London.
You love a vein, don't you?
Dick Vein, and they've gone. This is their branding. So if you were a beleaguered, train cancelling, poorly managed, horrible to your staff, the staff who I support 110%, by the way, would you really go with a tortoise with cash in its mouth as your branding? Because that's
what they've gone for?
They've gone with a tortoise with a mouthful of cash. It was supposed to say, "Oh, Hare and the Tortoise," but that still means we're slow, but we get there in the end. There it is, a tortoise. And so, because most people spend the whole journey swearing, including the staff joining in with the passengers, swearing at the Italian parent company that own it.
Italian government company, by the way. So they're making money off of our railways.
How bad must their railways be then, if that's what they export?
Probably work fine. They use the money to repair theirs. And they've gone with a tortoise with cash in its mouth.
That's disgusting.
I know.
That's horrendous.
But it's at least you can get from Manchester to London. If you're asking me about transport, we need HS2. I can't do it. It's too hard. What are you, 5? So go across. How about going across the country? It breaks my heart having to listen to poor Andy Burnham go, we need a northern powerhouse. They're just words. Like, try and get from Liverpool to Manchester to Leeds. If you could join Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds and Sheffield, properly join them, London would finally have some competition. But you need 4 of them. maybe 5 to compete with London and go all the way across to the north. It's super fast across. At the moment, and your listeners will think I'm inventing this, Matt won't because he would have driven it. If you want to get from Sheffield to universities, airport, the home of British Steel, massive city, to Manchester, a globally recognised city with an airport and 2 universities.
It's bad.
Snakes Pass is the road you have to travel. An almost medieval pebble path through the Peak District. I got off stage in Barnsley. This is 23. And the stage manager went, I wouldn't try to get home tonight. I went, why? He went, there's fog on Snakes Pass. You'll have to stay over. I couldn't get from basically what is Sheffield to Manchester at 11 at night because fog had descended. There'll never be a northern powerhouse if fog can stop 2 major economic centres connected.
Whereas you go to you go to France, Switzerland, any of those, they just bore through the f***ers, don't they? Mm-hmm. Straight through, like miles and miles of tunnels. Yeah. That's what you need.
You need to connect. Minister, you need to connect the cities across. You know, they built all this BBC up in Manchester. I live in Cheshire now because my wife's from Sale. So I've got BBC half an hour every single job. BBC job. Where is it? London. The talent won't travel. London talent won't travel. I want to make the Prime Minister podcast. Let's make it in Manchester. To which Matt would go, no one will come up. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
So we just got to f***ing fix it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you think obviously Leeds now the home of Channel 4.
Indeed.
But
temporarily.
Loads of people won't go.
I know.
Because they wanted Jon Snow to... Apparently, this is a story I heard on the grapevine. That's why he quit the news. He's like, I'm not going to Leeds when they go to Leeds.
That's what happens if you name yourself after a weather condition that will prevent your arrival.
You know what, Prime Minister? I think that is a perfect place to end. We've got loads of good policy.
Are you joking?
Yeah. We went for you. This is it. Nice, quick recording. I love it. You are on tour.
Yeah, I'm just finishing my previews right now, and the tours is just starting this in February, which is the month we're in, and I'm doing an intimate run of rooms just for the hardcore fans, 200 to 500 seats.
Yeah,
they are all sold out. However, I expect to reveal any day now, if not already revealed by the time you're listening to this, the main venues from September onwards. So keep your eyes peeled for those. It's called
I dream of being at a point where 200 to 500 is intimate.
Well, but it is for a comedy audience.
Yeah,
and it always will be.
Absolutely. But when I did 32 in Harrogate last tour, not ideal. And where can they find your dates?
Just go to russellkane.co.uk.
And you have a fantastic podcast called Evil Genius on BBC Sounds, which is also now a Sky show.
Yes, I will get in trouble if I don't say it's a BBC Radio 4 podcast, Evil Genius. I'll get my wrists slapped. That's where we take... There's a new series of that transmitting at the moment, and that's where we take people from history. It could be Winston Churchill, it could be Gandhi, it could be Richard Pryor, anyone, dead or alive, and we let off shocking truth bombs around these people, and at the end, the panel of comedians have to vote evil or genius, cancel or keep. And my favourite bit of criticism is, well, don't you think people are a mixture of the two? I think it's slightly simplistic and reductive game. To which I say to you, go on Twitter and tweet just one bad sentence and you'll learn how much grey area there is left in society. There's fucking none. So get on board, listen to Evil Genius. I've just made it for TV as well.
Yeah, so Sky History.
Yeah, catch up with that. Wherever you get your Sky content, now TV, go there. Catch up on that, but I've got some great fact bombs that will blow your mind about politicians. We just did Winston Churchill, for the TV series.
Hey, look, and now you've been Prime Minister, maybe you can be a subject of your own podcast one day.
Maybe I'll be cancelled. People always say to me, they'll say to you as well, Matt, aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about being cancelled? And the things that Matt and I will be cancelled for is nothing that we've said today or next week, unless we're very unlucky and make a mistake of some stupid kind. You'll be cancelled for something you've said that's okay today that you cannot believe won't be okay in 20 years.
Yeah.
I guarantee within this chat we've just had, within 20 years, Gen C or whatever will be on by then, will be like, oh my God, they were laughing about eating meat like it was a joke, the same way we would talk about rape now. Rape is not funny, right? Obviously not. But that's how meat will be spoken about when President Amstel, makes it outlawed.
Look, Prime Minister, thank you very much.